Hello, and thank you so much for being with us today. I am your host, meteorologist Leah Pizzetti, and this is Weather Out West. Starting this week, we are going to bring you an hour-long show each day showcasing what's happening weather-wise across the western United States. Meteorologists from our sister stations in 8 regions will bring you daily weather forecasts and explain weather phenomenon that's impacting people across your region. You'll find coverage from the Pacific Northwest to the Mountain West, California, and Arizona. And when severe weather hits, we will be the first to alert you if it could impact you, people, or property. So let's dive right in. It is officially July, and heat continues to be the big story for many of us along the West Coast. For many of us, that heat is going to back off at least a little bit in the next couple of days. But first, we are going to start you in Spokane, where most of eastern Washington remains under a heat advisory. Let's get to Krem for a look at when that advisory is set to expire.
I'm Nicole Hernandez in Spokane, Washington. Today we have heat advisories in place across our entire region. Tomorrow those expire, but new stuff happens. We've got storms and wind to talk about. Then things start to calm down by your 4th of July. We have a nice, warm, sunny 4th of July in store. For now, today, we are under a weather impact alert for today through Wednesday. That is because of our hot temperatures, 90+ degrees across our entire region. This is just a reminder, not only from us, but from the National Weather Service, to keep a lookout for your friends, your family, especially people who maybe don't have air conditioning. It's very hot out. Even overnight, we're staying warm, so it's definitely something that's hard to cool down from when we're this hot in the afternoons. High temperatures today out in eastern Washington and North Idaho going to be in the mid to high 90s. Out in central Washington, this is where we end up with our chances to see 100-degree temperatures today. So definitely very hot, and with our warm overnight temperatures as well, very hard to keep cool. Because of all of that, National Weather Service actually has us under these heat advisories across our entire region. These advisories are in place until 9 o'clock tonight. They don't expire until just after sunset today. Now, the reason they're not extending into tomorrow is because we actually start to feel a little bit of a cool down tomorrow. That's because of a low pressure system that's off the coast of Canada right now that's slowly moving its way here towards the Pacific Northwest. It is going to break down the ridge that's been keeping us hot. Number one, that cools us down. But when I say cools us down, I mean it's still going to be in the 90s and 80s across the region. Compared to today, it's going to feel nicer. But again, it's still hot. 80 degrees out in North Idaho, and that potential for 90 here in Spokane. And then even potential for high 90s out in central Washington tomorrow. Still going to be hot. That's one big thing. The next big thing for tomorrow is the fact that we're going to start seeing some storms roll through. When I say storms, you probably think water, rain, right? Actually not. These storms are going to be quite dry. This is really all we see in terms of rainfall. What these storms bring instead is the chance for lightning. Lightning, a very big deal when we're this dry, because it means the chance for wildfires. If a wildfire sparks tomorrow, it means bad news, particularly because we're also windy. Winds tomorrow, 25 to 40 mile per hour gusts, particularly through central Washington here. That is going to be potentially very dangerous in those spots where we see a lot of brush and those fires' ability to spread quickly. For that reason, National Weather Service putting us under a fire weather watch through those spots where the winds are going to be the most intense. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, of course, as we get closer to that. For now, things looking warm, things looking nice. If you haven't already gotten out the door, maybe don't do anything too strenuous because it is already getting warm out there. This is a live look at Riverfront Park where you can see our typical Tuesday food truck thing happening there downtown. It's going to be very hot, so just make sure you're drinking lots of water. If you decide to go out to the lake to try to get away from some of the hot temperatures, here's your lake temperatures. 66 degrees in Lake Coeur d'Alene, 63 Priest and Pend Oreille. Liberty Lake already at 72 degrees. So our lakes from the past few days have been able to warm up. I guess that's one positive for some pretty extremely hot temperatures. For the next week, we see weather impact alerts leave on Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday, we cool down even more into the 80s, and by Friday, we have a nice sunny day for 4th of July.
Oh, thank you for that, Nicole. Looks like you guys finally get a little bit of relief on the way. We're now going to take things down to the south in Phoenix, where, yes, this is the time of the year where Phoenix sees the heat, and they are seeing it this week. But Phoenix has extreme heat warnings, red flag warnings. The lower deserts are looking at temperatures up to 115 degrees. So, yes, it is hot even for Phoenix standards. Let's get a check of how things are looking down in Phoenix.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries, taking a look at your weather impact forecast here in Arizona, where we are dealing with summer extremes from one end to the other. I'm talking extreme heat, and then, yeah, that monsoon moisture is going to be kicking in, and that has also caused the National Weather Service to issue a few advisories because, again, these are two summer extremes, and they're at battle right now. Highs today, once again, going to be near record territory. Yesterday, we snapped the record. Today, we're still looking for the one teens. Look at this, 115 in Havasu, 114 in Gila Bend. We're going for about 113 here in Phoenix, but notice what's going on, especially right here on the eastern side of the state and in the higher elevations. Yes, we've got monsoon moisture on the move today. So there's going to be a concern for some strong winds and some blowing sand. First things first, this extreme heat warning continues through tonight at 8 o'clock. Remember, this started on Sunday. The peak was yesterday, but we're still in that zone because of the increased chances, though, for some monsoon moisture. Take a look. We've got a change up in the valley. We're not completely escaping this. We've got active weather moving into northern Arizona and on the east side, which includes Rim Country, the White Mountains, and southeast Arizona. The monsoon meter is a 4. So that means we do have some storms on the way today, and some of them could be dynamic. As a result, here we go. Blowing dust advisory that's going to go into effect later this afternoon through the evening hours for all the area you see here in brown, because as these monsoons come up, you know, all that downbursting moisture and wind element could be kicking up. Dust storms, dust advisories, you name it. This is active weather coming in. So let me map it out. This morning, you can see not really much out there, even though you can already feel there's a change up in the atmosphere. The air is a little heavier. We've got some dust, but this is just the beginning. By this afternoon, about 4 o'clock, that's when we're looking for these cells to get on the active side. And notice the concentration. Again, higher elevations, east side, southeast. Tomorrow, it's going to get a little more widespread. And yeah, I think we could be picking up some measurable rainfall from the monsoons. Right now, the rainfall total estimates are at 5/100ths of an inch. So I know that's not major, but again, the bigger concern will be the wind and dust associated with these cells. As you can see, some of them appearing to look dynamic. And then Wednesday evening into Thursday, well, it looks like the moisture is going to push away, and then we're going to just start to enjoy some cooler temperatures. Wind is going to coincide as these monsoons come in. So look for our winds to be 26, even almost 35 miles an hour in Safford. So the wind will, again, huddle around where we see the most of the moisture. But you just saw that roll across the state. That's why we've got that dust advisory, because the wind may be kicking up some action. So today, hot and breezy in Phoenix. We're looking for our winds up to about 20 miles an hour. As far as where we should be, 107. So we're still elevated. But unlike yesterday, I don't think we're going to snap the record of 115. Yesterday, as advertised, we got up to 116 degrees, which is now a new record. But now temperatures are going to start coming down, courtesy of the unsettled weather that's in the arena. So overnight lows dropping down to about 91 degrees. Now, next 7 days, when I say unsettled, this is what I'm talking about. Through Thursday, we've got a healthy opportunity for some pop-up moisture in the higher elevations. Temperatures are coming down as a result, but you know, short-lived. They're going to rebound next week. And then for the valley, still a weather impact alert for today. We've got a chance at monsoon moisture, healthiest by tomorrow, dwindling by Thursday. And then, yep, the heat is on. High pressure takes over. Temperatures are climbing. Not record heat, but we're certainly looking above 110 next week.
It is absolutely hot out there. Okay, we are going to take you to break, and when we come back from break, we're heading down to California from San Diego to Sacramento. We are also talking about that increased heat and, of course, fire risk as well as we head into our dry summer months. Stay with us. We will be right back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being with us today. I am meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. This is Weather Out West, and we're now going to take you to the Golden State. In California, we're going to start in San Diego. It is officially July 1st. We know May gray, we know June gloom. Sometimes it can stick around into July, helping keep the coastal communities a little bit cooler. But of course, if you head inland San Diego County, the deserts are extremely hot. In eastern parts of San Diego County, there is an extreme heat warning in place. Let's get down to San Diego and see how things are looking down in Southern California.
New data about safety and effectiveness can come to light. The FDA keeps track of that new data, which can come from
Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Evan Narani in San Diego, where we are holding on to a cloudy start to the morning and expecting some sunshine by the afternoon. Take a look outside. It's a little bit breezy out there. Westerly winds have pushed onshore, allowing for a light onshore flow. And it looks like for the days to come, we'll be seeing that repeat itself. Some people enjoying the start to the day. We've encouraged people to get their beach towels, their umbrellas, all set for the 4th of July holiday. We know that our San Diego beaches are going to be some of the busiest spots to be in the country as we head toward this upcoming weekend. The month of June is over. We are on July 1st. We're just a couple days from the 4th. We want to give you a little recap of what we saw over the month of June as a whole. And that's because our average afternoon high came in at a beautiful 70.9 degrees, within 1 degree of average. Our overnight low was on average at 62.1 degrees. We, however, have not picked up on the rain we've wanted. Our water year that started back in October was not all that fruitful for the winter season or for the spring season. And now as we head into our summer months, we are notoriously dry. We would only expect about 5/100ths of an inch on average. We saw 1/100th, so even with that very low margin for normal, we still came in below where we'd like to be. As we look outside, we see cloudy skies. Clouds are expected to break apart in the coming hours, and then we'll see sunshine for the afternoon stretch. Temperatures along our coastline expected to hit the mid-70s. Overnight lows have generally been on the warmer side of average, around 62, 63 degrees, so that's allowed for that warm-up to occur rather rapidly. If you start off the day at 63 degrees, 10 degrees of warming takes you to 73 degrees, for example, and it looks like those partly cloudy skies are going to be the theme all day long once that marine layer pulls its way back. Like I said, our beaches are a very popular spot to be. Surf right now, not too bad, 1 to 3 feet out there. But we expect surf to start to pick up as we get toward the holiday weekend, which means that while there are many, many people expected to fill our local beaches, it is going to be a time to keep in mind that getting in the water might not be the best for you. And the reason why is because we'll start to see that swell increase. 1 to 3 foot waves are going to be building to 3 to 5 foot waves. There are going to be some sets of 6-footers out there. Risk of rip currents climbs from low to high. So this is going to be that window, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where San Diego and Orange County beachgoers should be checking in with a lifeguard before they get in the water, especially if they're not experienced surfers or swimmers. High temperatures are going to be in the 70s out by the water, thanks to that cool onshore flow. As you make your way east, you start to notice the climb in temperatures. That takes us to 84 for Julian, for Alpine, for El Cajon, 90 for Ramona and Campo, very similar on those afternoon highs compared to yesterday. Now we've got a trough of low pressure that is going to be sliding in as we head into the next couple of days. It's very weak, so it's only going to drop our temperatures minimally between now and Thursday, but there's no build in temperatures. There's no, not even stagnant temperatures. It looks like inland will especially notice that drop and then subsequent climb. As we get toward your 4th of July, though, you see that climb, 72 out along our beaches, 73 by Saturday. 4th of July, expecting partly cloudy skies. There shouldn't be any disturbances in seeing the 4th of July fireworks out there. Inland will drop down to 81 and then climb all the way up to 87 by the time we get to Saturday. Sunshine for both Friday and Saturday. We know that this is kind of one of those extended weekends where people have a 3, in some cases 4-day weekend, and it doesn't look like we're going to have any trouble with that perhaps 4-day weekend from Friday through Monday. Sunshine each afternoon, temperatures in the mid-80s inland. We'll be back to the 90s in that same time frame as we get toward the beginning of next week. For your mountains, 90 and 91 degrees for Sunday and Monday. We're at 111 this afternoon, very hot across the deserts, cooling down to 104 and then climbing all the way back up to 109. It should be a beautiful rest of the week and a beautiful 4th of July holiday across San Diego County.
Thank you for that, Evan. We understand why people want to head to your beaches. They are so gorgeous down in San Diego. All right, from the 619 to the 916, let's now venture up to Northern California, where heat is the big story up in the northern parts of the states. We do have a red flag warning that has been issued for parts of Northern California. Heat has been the story the last couple of days. Let's check in Sacramento and see how things are looking in Northern California.
I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, and we got a wild start to the 1st of July. As we look around the region to the morning, we had cloud cover and even a few isolated thunderstorms. Placer County, Sutter County, as well as Amador County with a few of those clouds and light showers. Sonoma County sucked in with fog at the lower elevations. You can see that cloud bank just kind of nestled in to the canyon there. It's taking a while for that to start to clear. At Mount Shasta, beautiful photo from Melinda. You can see we still have snow up there at Mount Shasta, plus some thunderstorms coming into the outlook for today. Unfortunately, with that, we'll get the dry lightning, so no wetting rain. And around those lightning strikes, we're going to watch for the risk of lightning-sparked fires. Our red flag warning continues until 11 o'clock on this Tuesday. Regional headlines include part of that, a coastal fog, afternoon sunshine. The valley baking in July summer heat. For the foothills, warm and dry, and that chance of thunderstorms for the Sierra. For our valley highs, we're hitting 90s to the low 100s. For the foothills, we're in the 90s. For the coast, 60s, near 80 up top for the Sierra. But again, tracking the opportunity of thunderstorms. In July, normally don't see any rain for the valley. The most that we've ever seen is just shy of 0.8 of an inch, but you can see those average highs go from 91 to 93 degrees. This is our warmest and driest month of the year, where we average no precipitation. We had a little bit of it this morning, didn't put anything in the rain bucket though. Want to take you back to what a wild ride it was starting off on this Tuesday. From Auburn, stretching through Sacramento into Esparto, just that line of thunderstorms popping up. Thunder rolling through as well early on our Tuesday. Low pressure system off the coast pulling up that monsoonal moisture, so the opportunity of thunderstorms continues into our Wednesday forecast, as well as we look at the potential development for this late on Tuesday from Mount Shasta stretching through the Tahoe Basin. A repeat of that on Wednesday, and then stretching towards Yosemite as well. Thunder roars, go indoors. Don't want to have any kind of dangerous situation out there. A couple of clouds moving through for our Thursday, kind of signaling a few changes coming our way for the holiday weekend. In the meantime, highs in the 80s up top for the Sierra, 80s and 90s down the hill. But once we get to the lower foothills, we're in the 100s. Traveling our way southward again towards Yosemite, we get those highs warming into the 90s for Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park. We're in the 80s. Lower elevations, so by the time we get to Madero and Fresno, we're in the 100s. As we travel towards the coast, central coastal communities, nice and cool 60s and 70s. Head inland, Coalinga, as well as Mendota into the 100s, as well as Hanford. 101 this afternoon. Bay Area forecast, lots of low clouds and fog for the morning. Partial afternoon clearing with highs in the 60s along the direct coastline here from Half Moon Bay up towards Point Reyes. As we move inland, a little bit cooler than the valley locations where we hit the 90s easily for the afternoon. We'll keep it in the 70s and 80s though for some of those coastal valley communities. Up along the northwest coast, lots of fog here. Eureka, only 57 degrees. It's kind of amazing to look at the transition of temperatures here from the coast. 50s, 100s inland, including Red Bluff and Redding, but the chance of thunderstorms around Mount Shasta. As we move our way eastward, highs will be warming into the 70s and 80s, 90s for some of the lower elevations. Our Central Valley locations, we're in the 90s to near 100. You can see those 100s are definitely going to be represented here throughout much of our regional capital forecast. A move on our 3-day forecast into our 10-day forecast. We've got highs cooling into the 80s to near 90 over the holiday weekend.
Oh, thank you, Monica. Looks good to get a little bit of relief just in time for the 4th of July holiday, though. Still ahead after the break, we are going to head to Boise. We'll take you to Denver, where we're talking about more heat, thunderstorm potential, a lot to get to. We'll have all the details on all of that just after the break. We want to take you to Boise, where we also have extreme heat for that area that will be backing off here in the next couple of days. Let's check in and see how things are going in Idaho.
Hello on this Tuesday and first day of July. I'm Hector Mendoza out here in Boise. And let's talk about it now that we have June in the rearview mirror. July is coming along, and then we're going to see some hot temperatures for today. But these are what we normally see on average here in Boise as we get into the upper 80s to mid 90s in terms of those high temperatures through the rest of the month. Upper 50s to mid 60s in terms of those low temperatures into the overnight and into the morning. Average precipitation we normally get for the month of July, a little less than 1/4 of an inch of precipitation. And the hottest temperature we have recorded for the month of July is 111, and that record was set in 1960. But let's take a look at some of the things that we're going to be watching and paying attention to as we continue on through the rest of this week. As July comes in hot, peak heat for today, then it backs off into tomorrow. But the other thing we're paying attention to other than heat and dry conditions is going to be the chance of seeing some thunderstorms here all the way into the end of the week, which could bring in some high fire danger. And again, these are all the ingredients that we're going to be seeing. So again, we do have those hot temperatures for today, next couple of days, dry conditions and dry fuels. We'll also see a chance to see some dry lightning and gusty outflow winds that come along with some of the storms that do develop. So again, fire critical conditions is what we're paying attention to through the rest of the week. And with the heat, at least for today, we do have a heat advisory that stays into place till about 8 o'clock tonight. Those are due to some of the temperatures getting right at or above that century mark. And here's a look at those temperatures here in the Treasure Valley. 102 in Boise, 102 in Nampa, as well as in Ontario, 103 here in Mountain Home. Upper 90s and not too far off from those triple digits. But again, for Jerome and Twin Falls, hitting at 97 for this afternoon. Upper 80s for Stanley and Sun Valley, and looking like we hit the 90s out in McCall. So it's going to be really hard to escape the heat anywhere across Southwest Idaho for today. Now, we did talk about some thunderstorms that could be potential for today. It looks likely later on into the afternoon. It looks like it sticks around mostly into the mountain areas, the Magic Valley on into eastern Idaho, but the chances and the potential are still there to maybe see some storms later on this afternoon in the Treasure Valley. But as we head on into tomorrow, we start to see that this darker green, and that signifies the level 1 or a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms that looks to be up north from Boise into portions of the west central mountains, and that looks likely that we see some stronger storms into tomorrow. But as we fast forward through this future cast through the rest of the day today, we'll start to notice that maybe some of that precipitation comes along past 3 o'clock, heading into the Magic Valley, into eastern Idaho, and again in portions up into the mountains, at least for today. We see that come back along as we get on into Wednesday with a little bit more clouds, and again into the evening, the chances do come along for the Treasure Valley to maybe see some spotty showers, maybe a potential of some rumbles of thunder or two in places near Ontario, and that will continue again as we head towards the end of the week. And as we get towards the middle of the week, as we get on into Wednesday, what we're going to notice is we're going to see that some of that moisture coming in from the south is what's going to bring the potential for some of those thunderstorms. But as we get on into Thursday and Friday, it's a shortwave system that comes in that brings us the chances for some of the showers and thunderstorms. We're also going to see those temperatures back off again just a bit, getting into the upper 90s into tomorrow. We're going to see that sunshine come along through the rest of the afternoon. Drop temperatures again into the low 90s and closer to seasonable temperatures there Friday into Saturday. But it looks like things start to quiet down as we head on into the rest of this weekend. Temperatures will also start to warm up as we'll see them get into the low 90s there for Sunday. That sunshine looks to return and sticks around there for the beginning of next week. Temperatures climb up into the upper 90s. And again, we're expecting to see temperatures get closer to triple-digit heat as we get towards Tuesday and possibly the middle of next week.
Wow, that 102 to 85 is going to be a nice cool down. Thank you so much, Hector. And staying on the trend of thunderstorm potential, we are now going to take you to Denver, where Colorado also has a risk of increased thunderstorms as we move forward.
And I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team meteorologist Chris Bianchi in Denver. And here across Colorado, a drier look to our Tuesday and our Wednesday, and notably warmer as well. We're going to get southwest winds that'll kick up those temperatures for us really across the state. Denver only topping out in the low 80s on Monday with a lot of northeast wind, a cool look to our Monday, but Tuesday a bit more typical for this time of year as we start off July on a warm note. 91, our average high in Denver is 88. Now, Thursday looks to be the stormiest day of the week. Here's the reason. Jet stream is going to be off to our north here across Colorado. That'll pump up moisture out of the south and out of the west, and that means we've got Pacific and Gulf moisture and it looks overall pretty stormy for us here across the Centennial State on our Thursday. And so if you're doing some camping, and of course, Thursday, the 3rd of July, on the eve of the 4th of July, a lot of people, I would imagine, will be doing some camping up here into the high country. It does look stormy for us with widespread showers and storms on Thursday for both the Denver area as well as into the mountains. So just a little heads up on that. However, here's some good news. Computer forecast models increasingly confident that we'll kick out those showers and storms from that disturbance on Thursday. And for the 4th of July, a leftover storm or two, but for those 4th of July fireworks on the 4th itself on Friday night, looking better and better with just a slim chance for a storm during the day and during the nighttime hours for both the mountains and the Denver area. So that 7-day forecast, overall, a fairly typical look to things. This is what you might expect for the first week of the month of July. Temperatures upper 80s, low 90s. Again, average high this time of year is in the upper 80s, so this is pretty typical stuff. And a generally drier note. One thing I'll note is, again, Thursday will have the highest storm odds of the upcoming week for us, and temperatures for the upcoming weekend will be around 90 degrees for us in Denver, which again is very close to our seasonal average.
We often hear the term monsoonal moisture during the summer months. The Colorado monsoon season, also known as the North American monsoon. In fact, we're talking about some monsoonal moisture moving in on Thursday. But exactly what does it mean? Well, it's a pretty common occurrence during the summer months here in Colorado. And it's a certain weather pattern where you have a ridge of high pressure. It moves east over Colorado, bringing in the hot weather. It settles in just east of Colorado. And as it rotates clockwise, it does take that moisture out of the Gulf. It rotates it right on into Colorado. The jet has shifted to the north, so it allows more of that moisture to move in. At the same time, often there will be a trough of low pressure over Mexico, and that will rotate moisture from the Gulf of California into Colorado as well. You get all that moisture moving in, that jet moves to the north. You get that afternoon heating, and that creates rise. That moisture will rise, creating instability, and you get the afternoon storms. Over the mountains, we get those slow-moving upper winds creating more instability because you have a little bit more heating on the slopes of the mountains, creating a little bit more rise and a little bit more instability. So more thunderstorms in the mountains during the summer months. That is what is called the monsoon. Very important precipitation for our mountains. So again, what's the monsoon? It is a seasonal reversal of the winds. It happens July through September, so we're about in monsoon season right now. It is key for mountain precipitation, but it is also important when you talk about those mountain thunderstorms, very common during the summer months during monsoon season. It's also very important to pay attention to the afternoon forecast.
Thank you to both of you in Denver. Yeah, that explainer is spot on, and the monsoon is fascinating. If you've ever been in the monsoon, it comes and it goes just as quickly, and it is fascinating to see. So definitely something we'll keep an eye on as we head into the next couple of summer months when it heads into the peak monsoon season. All right, so still ahead, we are going to head to the Pacific Northwest. It is still going to be hot in the Northwest, a little bit cooler than maybe our friends in Arizona or Northern California, but for the Pacific Northwest, it's on the warm side. Up next, we are heading to Seattle and Portland to show you what things are looking like up in the Northwest. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're now going to take things up to the Pacific Northwest, to Western Washington, where we also have seen extreme heat that is finally getting a little bit of relief.
Hi, I'm King 5 meteorologist Rich Marriott, and boy, it was a hot one yesterday, at least for Puget Sound. We had a lot of sunshine like we have today. Temperatures are going to drop off about 3 to 5 degrees. We had 87 degrees out at SEA, and down at the Olympia Airport, we had 90 degrees yesterday. So a little hot for people that live in Western Washington, but the cooling today is going to help a little bit more, and we're going to see some more cooling as we get a little bit farther into the week. Beautiful day there in Bellingham, but not too far from Bellingham, going over to Port Angeles. You can see that marine air starting to sneak inland. We saw that push in through the Strait of Juan de Fuca and around south down into southwestern Washington during the day. Mostly through Puget Sound, plenty of sunshine around. A gorgeous start this Tuesday, and it does look like we're going to have pretty good stretch of weather headed away, though we are going to cool back to more normal temperatures, which is roughly mid to upper 70s most spots. A good looking day there looking out from the Tacoma Tower Cam towards Mount Rainier. And out at Westport, you can see that marine deck definitely in place. In fact, they probably only see a little bit of late day clearing out there along the coast, and they're going to struggle to get up to around 60 degrees this afternoon. Take a look at our 7-day first alert forecast. You can see things looking pretty good. We do cool off. In fact, we cool down into the upper 60s and low 70s Thursday. That's our coolest day, but then we start to warm back up again as we head towards the 4th of July, and that holiday weekend looking pretty nice at this point. Take a look at the satellite image this morning. Very clear what's going on. Basically in the visible range, you can see the low clouds off the coast and pushing in and filling in the river valleys up and down the Olympic Peninsula there and pushing inland almost to Puget Sound, but not quite today. Tomorrow we'll make that push in there, and that's going to bring us back down to our more normal temperatures as we head towards the middle part of the week. And then we'll probably bottom out, like I said, on Thursday when rebound in time for the holiday weekend. In case you happen to have today off, beautiful day up in the mountains, Hurricane Ridge there in the Olympics. You can see lots of blue sky, and similarly there, a lot of people are already up at Mount Rainier at Paradise enjoying the sunshine and getting ready to hit the trail, it looks like. Looking at our forecast, if you're going to be going hiking today, looking pretty good. We're going to be looking for sunny skies, high temperatures at the highway pass levels 3,000 to 4,000 feet, looking to be close to 80 degrees this afternoon. So good chance to get out and enjoy that sunshine and really enjoy being out there on the trails, which are increasingly snow-free, which is kind of nice. Take a look at what's going on weather-wise. We do have that ridge of high pressure that's been protecting us. That's sliding off to the east of us over the course of the next couple of days. And as we head towards Thursday, this little weak system is going to brush by probably in the wee small hours of Thursday. Not much to it, but it is going to give us our strongest push of marine air for the week. And we are going to get a little bit of convergence, and with that we will see maybe a little bit of sprinkles going on, or some very light showers in the wee small hours of Thursday as this little system kind of moves through and then dissipates up into British Columbia. Then as it continues to move on to the east, we're going to be looking for that to dissipate and go away and develop a new high pressure that's going to be building in us as we head towards the weekend and into the first part of next week. That's going to put us back into a fairly hot pattern, it looks like, as we head towards early to mid next week. So it's going to be a little bit of change going on there, but the main question is for the 4th of July, what we're expecting for that. That forecast looks really good. In fact, it's going to be comfortably warm that day. If you're heading off around noontime, you get a good spot in some of the public fireworks displays for the 4th of July evening. Should be already into the mid to upper 60s. Pretty nice afternoon to be outside in the sun and enjoy the outdoors. The temperatures peaking out in the mid 70s around Puget Sound for the 4th of July. And then finally, as we get on towards 9 to 10 o'clock, get ready for those fireworks displays, most of which happen after about 10 o'clock. We should see those temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 60s. So pretty nice overall. So for today, we're going to be sunny, a little cooler, upper 70s, low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking for those temperatures to get down into our normal range, mid to upper 70s. We'll bottom out on Thursday, maybe that chance of a few sprinkles in the convergence zone in the wee small hours of Thursday, and then partly sunny. Back to sunshine for the 4th of July on through the holiday weekend, though gradually warming as we head into next week. But over the holiday weekend, those highs stay mostly in the mid to upper 70s. Doesn't get much better than that.
Absolutely agree. Thank you so much, Rich. All right, we're going to venture a little bit farther south of Seattle down into Portland. How are things shaping up in Oregon?
And from the Rose City, Portland, on this very first day of July, I'm meteorologist Rod Hill, and at least happening now, if you will, scattered showers, thunderstorm activity. I thought this would kind of ease a little bit. We had these storms that popped up yesterday closer to Medford, and there were some fire starts. It's a big concern this time of the year, right, when you have thunderstorms, because the lightning can trigger new fires. But the information coming into our newsroom on this first day of July so far is that the fire starts down around Medford were just kind of frivolous, smaller blazes, so hopefully that continues to be the case. But we've got lightning that's been detected east and west and north of Lakeview, south of Burns. Some showers have been moving up through Burns. This activity overall is expected to kind of curl over toward Central Oregon and Bachelor and potentially Bend later today going into this evening. So all eyes on potential lightning strikes that could produce some fire starts, as I mentioned. And the National Weather Service has this red flag warning up for high fire danger. This is all of Crook County right in the middle. See the kind of jagged county, crooked county lines, if you will. But then parts of the Chutes, Bend County up through Redmond, up through Madras, or Redmond and Madras as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. Late day thunderstorms continue to be possible in addition to what we're already getting on this morning. Possible new fire starts, as I mentioned, is the concern. Also, this is day 2 of the heat advisory from Wasco County, the Dalles, out through Umatilla County, that's Pendleton, and then eventually up toward Walla Walla in Washington. We had temperatures that were well up into the 90s yesterday, and if anything, places like Hermiston and Pendleton, Oregon, this will be hotter weather today than yesterday. Both of your city forecasts are as toasty as 102. Weather Service believes there could be some 103 numbers. You folks in the Dalles not expected to hit 100 degrees, but you'll be well up into the 90s. And then you will cool off tomorrow. So this should be the final day of the 2-day heat advisory. Some live cameras on this Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Timberline Lodge. Evidence that it's a warm batch of air because early morning numbers in the mid-60s up at 6,000 feet. There's mostly sunny skies in Willamette Valley, and of course the familiar scene of the Oregon State Capitol. And there's downtown Portland, beautiful morning. There is a noticeable west breeze. I've been outside doing some live shots for our show, and you can feel the west wind about 15 on this Wednesday so far. Futurecast just reinvigorates scattered shower and thunderstorm activity coming out of southern Oregon and having a tendency to curb toward Bend. This is at 5 o'clock this afternoon. This activity is still expected to redevelop tomorrow on Wednesday. Now tomorrow, if the modeling is right, the action is a little bit farther off to the east and actually getting up into Idaho. And then I'll play you one more day. Here's Thursday. Scattered showers, again, maybe some thunderstorms mixed in. So fire starts, obviously a concern. All right. Here on the west side of our state, not as hot as Monday, but still hot. I mean, this shows 91 in McMinnville and 90 in Salem. So hopefully folks are taking advantage of the cooler morning temperatures. Winds today, afternoon breezes north 10 to 20, which is kind of what we've been seeing lately. Here are the numbers for Southwest Washington. You get north of the Columbia River, odds are I think we'll hold just under 90, but it'll be close. I mean, this shows Vancouver at 89. Here are the temperatures. The coast will be in the 60s. The beaches here in Oregon did clear out yesterday after some morning clouds, and we think that will happen again today. You can see all the 90-degree heat expected. Here is the Rose City's 7-day forecast. So we get through today, and then a wave of classic northwest comfort comes in. 80 on Wednesday. Could be some early clouds any of these days going into July 4th. I've lowered Friday's forecast high to 77, and then right now the upcoming weekend looks nice too. 81 on Saturday, 84 on Sunday. We could be back up to 90 to start next week.
Thank you, Rob. Our beaches along the West Coast, aren't we, to stay cool as we head into these summer months. All right, that does it for our local forecast, but still ahead after the break, we are going to take a look at the big picture. We're going national and seeing what the highlights in the forecast are as we take a look at the United States as a whole. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us for Weather Out West. I'm meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. We walked you through all of our different local forecasts along the West Coast, but let's take a look at the big picture as we look at the country as a whole. Heat out west is one of the biggest stories in the nation today.
I'm meteorologist Caitlin McGrath, and we are tracking a powerful cold front that's going to bring storms up and down the East Coast today, but finally bring in some nice relief from humidity in the wake of it as we head through the middle and end of the week. Also watching a big ridge of high pressure that's pumping in some serious heat for our friends in the north and west. So let's start there, and the triple-digit temperatures that Boise will see today. Temperatures will gradually, I guess you could say, cool off or be less hot through the remainder of the week, but still in the low 90s for Thursday with wall-to-wall sunshine. Spokane, you'll go from the mid to upper 90s today to the low 90s Wednesday and eventually 80s by Thursday. Pretty nice in Seattle. You've got sunshine as well. Low 80s today, 70s for Wednesday and Thursday. Portland near 90 today, but starting to slowly cool off for Wednesday into Thursday. Phoenix is cooking as usual. Triple-digit heat here over the next several days, with today being the hottest of the next several, up to 114 degrees. Denver also seeing temperatures in the 90s with blazing hot sunshine. Next chance for rain isn't until Thursday. Even Sacramento, really toasty. Temperatures in the low 90s as we head through the next several days with wall-to-wall sunshine. And San Diego, steady as she goes with sunshine and 70s as we head through the next several days. Down into Texas, not all too hot there in Corpus Christi. Still quite toasty, but it is the end of July. It is the start of July, rather, so always could be hotter. Houston, you're in the mid to upper 90s over the next several days with a few storms today. Dallas, similar situation there. Austin, no rain chances for you over the next couple of days, just some summer heat with temperatures in the mid 90s. Now, down into Florida, Tampa getting a little break from the extreme heat. We've got upper 80s today with mid 80s and storms Wednesday and Thursday. New Orleans, stormy forecast here over the next several days. Not a washout, but daily storm chances today and tomorrow. Thursday looking dry with temperatures still in the low 90s. Back into Little Rock, a few storm chances today, but drier for Wednesday and Thursday. Atlanta, you've got storm chances today and tomorrow, but looks to quiet down by the end of the week. Charlotte, you've got nice sunshine and temperatures that gradually warm up toward Thursday, back in the low 90s. Louisville also looking at a few showers today, low 90s by the time we get to Thursday. Memphis, upper 80s today, but still quite toasty as we head through Wednesday into Thursday as well, with low 90s back in the forecast. In St. Louis, you've got similar temps as well. Now back around the Great Lakes, Minneapolis, gorgeous here over the next several days with some summer heat in the upper 80s. Grand Rapids looking a little bit more comfortable today than you'll be for Wednesday into Thursday, but still not bad. Indy's warming up into the low 90s by the time we get to Thursday as well. And Des Moines, you've got upper 80s to low 90s here over the next couple of days. Now down into Norfolk, temperatures toasty for today, but that cold front will bring a little relief for Wednesday, but also some storm chances. DC is getting the storms later today with a big drop in humidity as we head toward the end of the week. Buffalo, you've got a few showers today and Thursday. Portland, you've got storm chances as well, but Wednesday looking nice and hot with upper 80s.
Thank you, Caitlin, so much. All right, still ahead after the break. It is a new month. Summer brings some of the best opportunities for viewing the sky, different astronomical events heading our way. We're going to talk about some of the highlights so you can get ready to go and plan accordingly to see the cool things in the sky. Well, it is officially a new month. July is here, and summer can bring some of the best weeks and months for astronomy viewing. As you make your summer plans, let's talk about a few of the astronomical sites that are heading our way in the next few weeks so you can plan ahead and know when to look up. We will start this month with the month's full moon. It will be on July 10th. Now, this one has a lot of different names: buck, thunder, hay, salmon, and raspberry full moon. These all are from Native American heritage and make a lot of sense. These are things that you see during this time of the year. Of course, thunder, we've been talking about that with the monsoon. Salmon, hay, this is when you cut hay. This is when raspberries are in season. The full moon will be July 10th. It's technically in the afternoon at 1:36 p.m., but you can see it the night before and the night after. It will look glorious. And then the new moon is July 24th at 12:11 p.m. That is going to be a great opportunity to see cool things like different asteroids, different meteor showers, different stars, and other things in the sky when the moon is at its darkest. So let's talk about one of those things. Perseid meteor shower is heading our way. This is one of the most active meteor showers that we see. This is going to start on July 17th, so mark your calendars. July 17th to August 23rd. It is going to actually peak in August, so I know we still have a little bit of time, but start making those plans now because this is going to be an impressive one. Usually around 25 to 75 meteors, but we have seen up to 100 meteors during this time of the year. So a great thing to plan ahead and try to see as we head into our summer months. All right, that does it for us here on our new show, Weather Out West. Every day, 8 stations across the West Coast will come together to bring you your local forecast from the Southwest in Arizona to in San Diego to the Northwest in Washington and Oregon and everything in between. I am meteorologist Leah Pizzetti, your host for the day. Thank you so much for being with us today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.